right, fellas. Well, let's go ahead and jump into some news, man. And I feel like this news has been coming and going quite a bit here. And stop me if you heard this one. Joel Embiid is out again for the Philadelphia 76ers. Joel Embiid had a knee injury this time. Before it was the foot, before it was just whatever Scott else has got going on, man. So, all right, fellas, this question's been brought up quite a bit. Mr. BC, you're up top here, man. Let's go ahead and start with you first, man. Right. What do the Philadelphia 76ers do now? Joel Embiid has 4 years left on the contract after this one right here, so he has 3 more left. He's on the first part of the contract extension that he signed last year in 2024. He's due a lot of money. Whenever he's healthy, he's one of the best in the league. Mr. BC, do you find a trade partner for him, or what do you do with Joel Embiid at this point?
At this point, I think you just kind of spelled it out right there. When he's healthy, he's one of the best. But the best ability in the NBA time and time again has been availability. And so it doesn't matter if you're putting up 30, 35 points a night, getting like 12 boards and like 3 blocks. If you can't be there, you've shown that you're basically a glass cannon. You're kind of useless at that point for the 76ers. Now, as far as the contract situation, it's very unfortunate for them, but that's on them for making that decision. Yeah. But at this point, if I was Philly, I would just try to find somebody that'd be willing to take him. You might have to throw in some cash considerations. Maybe you might have to throw in maybe like but maybe like a young player or draft pick or something like that, just to try to sweeten the deal. I mean, there's somebody out there that's going to take a chance on Joel Embiid, and he's still elite enough to garner a decent haul in return. But it's a very limited pool of teams, I think, that would invest in a center who's very injury prone, making that kind of money on the wrong side of 30.
Yeah, he's actually 30 right now, and it's after if they're talking about shutting him down for the rest of the season. That's what the indications are. They're exploring options out there to see if there is anything else he can do. But if he's already been hurt, he's only played 19 games this season out of 56. Why bring him back at this point? And Philadelphia is just going on a downward spiral right now at the moment as well. I think they're on a 7-game losing streak. If I correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but Philadelphia, this just is another notch in the belt of just all the stuff that's gone wrong for the 76ers in this trust the process situation, man. G-Mike, what do you do? Do you shut him down, or what's your thoughts on this one, bro?
Yeah, you definitely shut him down. If I'm Joel Embiid and I feel like I have some knee issues still going on, I definitely want to get it looked over, especially if I want to keep playing. And if I don't want to keep playing, I mean, you're still going to get a paycheck for the next 4 years. You have guaranteed money. It's $240 million plus that he's going to get guaranteed off of the 76ers or another team if they trade him off to. So I feel like Joel, if he wants to keep playing, for sure, check out the knee, see if you need some surgery. But I've heard that he has no cartilage in that knee. So if that's the case, I don't even think that he's going to be playing anymore, honestly.
Yeah.
But
you're looking at knee replacement.
Yeah, probably. For the team itself, I would consider trading him already at this point. You've already putting so much mileage on him, and he's putting so much mileage on his body that at this point, it's already like a failed marriage. It's just good to separate at this point. Trade him off with some draft picks. I do agree with BC there. I think they're going to have to add a little more to it when you're going to try to trade him away. But there are going to be teams out there that want Joel Embiid. The guy is a monster, and if he could come back playing to the same level that he was playing at, whatever team grabs him is going to be very happy, especially pairing him up with either another star or another 2 stars, whatever the case may be. But I feel like the 76ers definitely should trade for him, and Joel Embiid definitely should sit out this year and check out the knee.
Yeah, I agree. So what do you – well, let's put on your GM hats here, Mr. G. Mike. So we got the 76ers again here, man. And this is seems like a reoccurring situation for them. They always try to bring it. They brought in Paul George to go along with Tyrese Maxey and to go along with Joel Embiid. This seems like it hasn't really happened here. Who is off limits at this point? Because I feel like Philadelphia has to almost blow this thing up again. Is Maxey on the table, or – is he the only piece that's not available? Who isn't available left on that team now that you wouldn't have to try and blow this thing up and start from scratch again?
I think if there is anybody that's not available, it would be Maxey. But I feel like everybody's available on this team. I feel like they should go in a rebuild mode. They should do what OKC did and try to get some picks in return, try to get some cash in return. And, it is what it is. The next 2 to 5 years is going to be an uphill battle, but you got to do what you got to do, because right now these players are showing you that they can't do it. 8-game losing streak, and they're supposed to be one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference right now, and they're not even in the play-in.
No, and I think the other problem is that they're all the players that they have that are worth value are all going to be very expensive for other teams as well. So like Paul George his contract isn't cheap anymore, and you just got Paul George. Tyrese Maxey, correct me if I'm wrong, then he signed an extension last year as well.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, which I liked Tyrese Maxey a lot. I think he's a very good player, and I think he would be great on another team. I think that they're expecting him to step up and be like a number one on the team, and I don't know if he's that kind of caliber player, but he would be a hell of a 1B, maybe a number 2 option.
Take him in O-Town. I'll take him in O-Town. Shoot, give me some Tyrese Maxey down here. I mean, we could always swing it though too, where like if they wanted player, not just draft picks in return. I mean, it's unpopular, but Jalen Suggs could be an option. Like I love Suggs. I think he's a great compliment team, but if it's like having a guy like Tyrese Maxey, it might be worth it. But as far as like places where Joel could go, I'm kind of thrown for a loop. I don't really have a lot of teams. Maybe a team like maybe Golden State, where he wouldn't be asked to do as much because, especially on offense, because you've got Steph, you've got Jimmy now, you've got Draymond that can still facilitate a little bit. He can just kind of focus more on the dunker spot, posting up, and occasionally stepping out to the three-point line too, and just being mostly jumpers on offense, and then mostly anchoring a defense with Draymond Green. Like Draymond Green would be a great, I think, fit for him as a partner because psychologically, like Draymond, his knowledge of the game, like his awareness on defense is amazing. And then you have the physical dominance of Joel Embiid when he's healthy to kind of pair with that. I think it would take a good load off of him. Now, as far as being able to make that happen, that's another story entirely. It just really depends on what Golden State would be willing to give up. You'd have to give up a lot of young players, a lot of young assets. But it's like at this point, if you're the Warriors, if you're Steph, like, why not just go all in?
I don't know if the Golden State would. I mean, I like the idea. I just don't know if how Golden State would be able to pull that one off, if that would actually work out or not. But having said that, though, man, like it's just crazy to think that like this kid. I mean, like you were saying, G, Mike, the cartilage rumor, that's a real thing. I mean, and this could be potentially, possibly the end of the career for him at this point, at age 30, somewhere in there. And if so, it might be the end of his dominance. Maybe he could, make a resurgence as maybe like a bench player or something along those lines. I can't see him doing that with his attitude as well. He's very, I don't know how would you describe his attitude out there? I don't know. I mean, he's got attitude sometimes, and I don't know if conditioning is part of the problem either. But he's just been an interesting guy to say the least for the 76ers. And it's just a shame that this hasn't really worked out.
Definitely for me also too, like maybe a change of scenery would be good for him because we don't know how the training staff is there. Maybe their rehabbing isn't as good as they advertise it, and maybe going to a place that would actually get him looked at and get him taken care of properly. Not saying that that's the case, but if that is the case, that might be what saves his career. Might be able to give him another 5-6 years to be able to play in the league, which again, no cartilage in the knee. That's a big ask, but again, it's better than I think staying where you're at because that's literally the definition of insanity.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's gonna be a lot of interesting stuff coming up here for Joel Embiid, and he's when he's on the court, he's one of the best to see. But the way it's been going, it doesn't look like he's gonna be back for a little while, man.